Hello, today we're going to discuss factoring to solve quadratic equations. In doing so, we're going to use a useful tool, something that's very common sense to most of us, the zero product property. One of the first things we learn when we learn how to multiply is that anything times zero equals zero. That's basically what the zero product property is telling us. It's allowing us to use this property in order to solve. Um, the definition of the property for every real number, a and b, if a times b equals 0, then either a has to be 0 or b has to be 0. Okay, here in example 1, I've got x plus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, in order for this to be true, either the x plus the 3 or the x plus the 2 must be equal to 0. Well, the way that I do that, I separate them, I rewrite them, or I set them up, and then I solve. Here we solved by subtracting 3 from both sides. We ended up with x equals negative 3, or subtract 2 from both sides here to solve. We get x equals negative 2. Now each one of these we're going to check individually. So here if I substitute a negative 3 in for x here and rewrote, I got negative 3 plus 3 equals, or times negative 3 plus 2 equals 0. Let's try that out. Negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. And negative 3 plus 2 equals negative 1. Is 0 times negative 1 equal to 0? Yes. And over here, negative 2 plus 3 equals a positive 1. We're going to times negative 2 plus 2 equals 0. Does 1 times 0 equals 0? Absolutely. Okay, let's move on down to example 2. Alright, let's suppose it's not already factored out. They give us a quadratic trinomial. Okay, and the first thing we want to do is factor. They give us x squared plus x minus 42 equals 0. Well, I know that I'm in a situation where it's going to be x plus a number times x minus a number, because the second number there is a negative. The only way to get a negative is to multiply a positive times a negative. Which one of those has a difference? Which factors of 42 have a difference of 1? This understood 1 right here. It is going to be 6 and 7. However, how do we decide which one goes? We know that 6 times 7 equals 42. Okay. If one of those was a negative, let's say the 6 was a negative, negative 6 plus 7, does that equal positive 1? It does. So that's what we were looking for. So we're going to have the 6 is going to go over to the negative side. The 7 goes here. So I've got x plus 7 times x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, now that I have it factored out, I have to set it up. So x plus 7 equals 0, or x minus 6 equals 0. And we're going to solve by subtracting 7 here to both sides. I end up getting x equals negative 7 Or I'm going to add 6 to both sides to solve for x. So x equals 6. Okay, let's solve these by substituting in a -7 here, and we can start at this level here where we've already factored out. We're assuming that we've factored correctly. We start with a set -7 here. Now check, so I've got -7 plus 7 times -7 minus 6 equals 0. Here I've got -7 plus 7 is 0. 0 times -7 minus 6 is -13. And 0 times -13 equals 0. So this side checks out. Okay, over here on this side, I've got x. I'm sorry, we're substituting 6 in for x. So I got 6 plus 7 times 6 minus 6 equals 0. I kind of show you where all this come from. Okay, this is our original factored out version. I've just moved it all down here and substituted it in. I also moved it over to here and substituted it in. Just kind of give you a little clarification of where all that stuff come from. Okay. So 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 times 6 minus 6 is 0. 13 times 0 does in fact equal 0, so that one checks out as well. So our answers are x equals -7, comma, or x equals 6. And I'm just going to circle this here for clarification so that you know this is our final answer. Alright, very good. Let's move on down to example 3. Now I've got x squared plus 4x equals 21. Now this is not set up as anything equals to 0, but we can. We can get rid of this 21 to the other side and leave 0 over here by simply subtracting 21. So that's what we did. We rewrote it. We've got x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0. Now, first step, or second step after we rewrote it, is that we're going to factor. We know once again that this is a -21 here. Okay, so I can circle that. Alright, so I know I had a plus and a minus. Alright, my middle number is a positive number, so I know that the largest of the two factors must be the positive. So which factors of 21 have a difference of 4, I'm sorry. And the two main ones that come to mind are 7 times 3 and 7 minus 3 equals 4. So, figure that out. We got 7 here, 3 there. Alright, so now we're going to set it up. We got x plus 7 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, simply to solve for x, we undo what's being done to x with minus 7 here and minus 7 there. to both sides. That gives us x equals -7, because 0 minus 7 equals -7. Over here, what's the opposite of subtract 3? That's correct. We're going to add 3 to both sides. Okay, these cancel out. So I've got x equals 3. Now to check it, I want to go back up to this level here where we had them factored out on each one. So let's do that. Let's say I've got x, which is -7 now. Over here, -7 plus 7 times -7 minus 3 equals 0. Is that true? -7 plus 7 equals 0. So 0 times anything, but in this case it happens to be -10. Equals 0, so that checks out. And over here, since x is 3, we're going to substitute it in for both x's there. So I've got 3 plus 7 times 3 minus 3 equals 0. 3 plus 7 is 10. 3 minus 3 is 0. And 10 times 0 is definitely 0. Thank you and good luck.